Welcome to the Do Zone, where entrepreneurs go to get things done. I'm your host, Josh Thomas. You can find me on all social media at JT Literally. Each week, I bring on experts from a variety of backgrounds to share their secrets on how to optimize performance so you can take massive action and crush your goals. The Do Zone is sponsored by Conversational Funnels, the new way to close deals in 2025 that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods everyone hates. We use this method to book 121 qualified sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach, or endless social posting. You can download the free step-by-step blueprint that shows exactly how we did it at conversationalfunnels.com. Once again, that's conversationalfunnels.com. Today's guest is Charles Reed. Charles J. Reed is a certified public accountant, a U.S. tax court practitioner, a Vietnam veteran, and author of the Payroll Book and the founder of GetPayroll. Charles, welcome to the Do Zone. Tell us something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
Well, Josh, thanks for having me, of course. I make lists. I make lists all the time. That's what allows me to accomplish things. I keep a list by my desk all the time. For anything that comes up, I make a note of it. It goes on my list. It gets once a day. I reprioritize things, and I work on it. It's an old, story of Carnegie and the greatest idea and so on and so forth. But making lists and following them, prioritizing them works because you work on the most important thing first and you get it done and you reach a stopping point and then work on the next most important thing. Keeps you focused on the important things and it reminds you of the things you have to do. I find it extraordinarily useful.
Yeah, and I had somebody talk about they make a list, and then when they finish one item on the list, sometimes we have to like reassess, like, all right, well, is any of the rest of this stuff actually necessary?
Sure. And there's times you go to the list and you cross things off as they don't matter anymore. They were
Yeah,
important at that moment, so you jotted them down. But
yeah,
hey, life goes on. Things happen. Things change. Uh, there's things, I plan for the future, and the future changes, and they're no longer in the plan. So, okay, life goes on.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, we have to kind of modify and adjust, and that's one of the things that we're constantly on the lookout for, especially when it comes to taxes. Now, I have to ask, you are a bit of a unicorn here because you are one of only 200 people who has passed this certification to become a U.S. tax court practitioner. And first of all, I didn't even know that was a thing until I met you. So first, what is that? And second, why are there so few people that have it?
Okay. As a U.S. tax court practitioner, I am able to practice in U.S. tax court as if I were an attorney without being a state licensed attorney. I have a bar card from the U.S. tax court. When I talk to my clients about tax court related matters, it's attorney client privilege. Okay. So it allows me to get a whole nother bite at the tax apple. If all the administrative appeals have failed, I can take the case to tax court for $60. I file a petition with U.S. tax court and it goes to docket appeals and the whole process starts over again with, frankly, better educated and knowledgeable people who really want to settle the case. 95% of U.S. tax court cases are settled pre-court. The IRS really doesn't like to go to court. They might lose, and in losing, they might set a precedent that they're going to lose every other related case. So they much prefer to settle rather than go to court. But either way, we get a whole nother bite at the apple. To become a U.S. tax court practitioner requires that you take an exam from the U.S. tax court. It's given once every 2 years in Washington, D.C. It covers tax, it covers tax court practices, and it covers evidence, and it covers legal ethics. That's a short book. So you have to pass the exam. Less than 10% of the people that take it pass it. It's rather rigorous, and you have to have a fair body of knowledge to pass it. I would suggest that most attorneys couldn't pass the tax portion of it, but they get a pass as a state licensed attorney. You just apply the tax court and you can practice in the tax court. As a non-attorney, you have to pass a whole exam and show your competence in all those areas. And I did that here about 10 years ago because the IRS was getting really obstreperous and I wanted to be able to better serve my clients.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. And so you are kind of the one step away from being a tax attorney in effect.
For all practical purposes, I'm a tax attorney as far as the U.S. tax court is considered. What I'm not is I can't take it to district court. I'm not licensed in district court. I'm licensed in the U.S. tax court.
And what have you seen as somebody that has, obviously gone to court and fought over tax law? What have you seen are some of the most common issues that entrepreneurs, business owners specifically, what are some of the kind of repetitive problems that we run into when it comes to tax laws and tax compliance?
Well, in terms of compliance, a lot of it's pure arithmetic. If you don't use a computer and you make arithmetic errors, it causes problems. Beyond that, there's a lot of literature out there telling you what you can and can't do. And a lot of it's bogus. A lot of it's snake oil. And if you rely on that, you're going to get short shift in tax court because it's not the law. It's somebody's opinion, and they're very vocal about it. And so it leads to frivolous lawsuits and frivolous court cases. And the courts don't have any patience with frivolous cases. So if you want to go say the IRS is not legal or you're a sovereign citizen and don't have to pay taxes, and the flag is not a U.S. flag because it has fringe on it and so on, no, you're going to get short shift in court and lose in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Beyond that, most of what goes on is interpretation. The laws are written by Congress and interpreted by the Treasury Department and the IRS. And it's their opinion of what the law is. It's not the law. Regulations and procedure within the tax structure is not the law. The law is what Congress wrote. And if you feel what Congress's intent was this, and the IRS feels it was this, then you have an argument that goes to court and the judge decides. So most of the cases are interpretive. It's a matter of we've got a unique set of circumstances that has not been litigated, and how does the law actually apply to that, and what was the congressional intent behind the law in relation to this set of circumstances. And that's what makes a horse race, of difference of opinion.
Yeah, indeed. It makes a lot of sense. And so what would you say is the thing that we can do to legally beat the IRS at their own game? And I don't know if I want to say beat the IRS, but what are some things that we can take advantage of, some rights and things that are baked into the code now that we can use that most people just aren't aware of?
Well, first thing, the IRS cannot penalize you for a simple mistake. They can only penalize you for gross negligence. Okay. Now, who defines gross negligence? Well, the IRS thinks they do. Okay. That's an opinion. The judge may have a different opinion. So if you get penalized and you don't feel it's appropriate or proper, you can appeal, and finally take it to tax court and get a judge to decide whether it's legitimate gross negligence or it's a simple mistake and just the taxes need to be paid. You're never going to beat the taxes. Though, again, it's a matter of interpretation. You read the law, or your lawyer does, or your tax CPA does, and says, according to law, you should be able to do this. You do it, and the IRS says, no, you can't. Well, Now you have a difference of opinion, and that's where the judge comes in. Okay. So the IRS is never the final arbiter. The courts are. That's how
Mm,
our system works. So the IRS is part of the executive branch of the government and can be overruled by the courts. So
mm.
if you have a good case and if you have the time and the money, it may be worthwhile to take it to court. Now, if you get a penalty and it's $10, just pay it. It's not worth writing the letter.
Right.
Don't bring it to me. It's not worth my time. I'm going to charge you many times that $10 to write a letter. Frankly, in several cases for my clients, we've just paid minor penalties. We got one in one day for two of them for $7 each. I just sent the IRS a check. It wasn't worth bothering the client with. Okay. My
Yeah.
time explaining to the client why it's not worth fighting it. It's not worth the $7. It was to pay the damn thing. So, use some discretion. Don't fight over the small stuff. But the big stuff, dealing with the IRS, it's a whole series of no's followed by a single yes. So you're likely, if you appeal it to higher and higher on higher levels, may get someone who looks at it and goes, makes sense to me, and abates it. And once that penalty is abated, say thank you, shut up, and go away. Don't keep talking.
Yeah. Makes sense. And so tell us a little bit more about what you're working on now. You have a book. Tell us a little bit about the book and who that's a good fit for.
My most recent book is the Payroll Book, a guide for small businesses and startups. It's designed to help small businesses and startups deal with payroll. Goes through all the payroll stuff, taxes, deductions, exemptions over time, who's an employee, who's not an employee, which is very important, and a whole body of law. How to actually do the payroll, and then a section on all payroll-related things, handbooks, dealing with aliens, both legal and illegal, PEOs, and other things that are payroll-related. I refer to it as 35 years of wisdom distilled down to 95,000 words. If any of your listeners are interested in the book, if they will go to the payrollbook.com, enter the discount code podcast, we will ship them a copy of the book free of charge.
Awesome. And one more time, the website?
Thepayrollbook.com.
Payrollbook.com. Excellent. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up from here. Thanks so much to our guest, Charles Reed, for coming on and sharing a little bit of wisdom about how the IRS works, and just pay them, guys. For those of you who are interested in learning more about the Payroll Book, you can get access to that for free at thepayrollbook.com. For those of you who are out there on your morning commute, maybe you're in the gym, you're somewhere out in the field, snap a selfie, tag me at JT Literally. Show me what you do while you're in the do zone. And one more time, if you want to stuff your calendar with qualified, motivated, ideal clients who want what you have, download the Conversational Funnels Blueprint for free at conversationalfunnels.com. That's it, and let's get to work. Hey, thanks for listening to the Do Zone podcast. If you're running a service-based business that's looking to grow this year, let's talk about how we can slingshot you into momentum with a quick injection of cash and sales. Our clients typically see results in as little as 7 days. To learn more about what we do, you could go to factor1.io. Once again, that's factor1.io. We'll see you next time.